Yeah, so overall, I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10, bloody hell. Generous.
Yeah. Oh, really? Where are you going then? Where are you going?
6?
6?
6. Yeah,
You didn't like it that much then?
I thought it was alright, but I thought there was a bit of a, I don't know, a GCSE drama about it in some ways. Like, some of the actors, I think there's some really good actors in there, but maybe just phoning it in a bit.
And welcome to another episode of Off the Couch. Shelly here, therapist, discussing with...
I'm Ant, also a therapist, and what we're getting down to today?
Today we are going to be talking about the TV programme The Unchosen.
Let's get into it. So, what do you think? It's quite popular on Netflix at the moment. What are your first thoughts? What are your impressions?
My first thoughts and impressions were, with the information that came up at the beginning about cults in the UK, and I guess I was a little bit taken back by that and didn't realise that we had that many cults in the UK.
2000, wasn't it? I mean, bloody hell, where are they?
Yeah, it was something, and I was just shocked, So my initial reaction was shock.
What is considered a cult? Is there a definition? I mean, should we look this up before we do the video, I guess? But yeah, 2000. Didn't think that we'd get that in the UK. And America, yeah, that's fair game. But the UK, 2000 cults, I mean, damn.
Yeah, and I guess in some ways, you're right. That's kind of, I guess, due to TV and film, that my association with cults has been American.
Yeah, like the Kool-Aid Gang, Jim Jones and all that, innit? And the Moonies and
Manson
stuff.
and things like that.
Manson family. Did that in psychology. That was fascinating stuff. But I'm not too sure of many UK cults. And I suppose it's, I don't know, I was going to say nice to see a show on it because you never really want to see these kind of cults. But it was interesting to see a show, and I think it's good on Netflix to highlight that it isn't just an American thing. It's obviously very much a UK thing as well, as the 2000 number displays.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's what was different, and that's what I liked about the difference as well. And then kind of exploring a bit about what that's like, living in a cult in the UK, and how their lives differ in comparison to the average person, shall we say?
Yeah. I mean, how should we get into it? I mean, I guess from a therapist angle, it was quite interesting, wasn't it, about the following and the restrictions in play, the conniving, the manipulation from different characters. And again, guys, there's going to be spoilers, so if you haven't seen it yet,
there will
maybe avoid this one to a later date. But yeah, where would you like to start with Unchosen?
Well, I guess it was one thing I'm thinking is, if you ever wonder why people in the show like Unchosen don't just leave, it's called conditions of worth.
Yeah, and you did a bit about this recently, didn't you, on conditions of worth?
Yeah, we did a bit on conditions of worth, and I think that's part of the reason why people are kind of, it's ingrained in them, so they're not going to do that because they're getting their value from people that they're being raised by, and in order to feel good about themselves, they do what they're told in some ways.
Yeah, in a way, it's like a conveyor belt of conditions of worth, isn't it? From baby to adolescent, teenage, and then adulthood. It's just like that chain constantly repeats, and that's how the cult system works, in a way. Just one big old soup of conditions of worth.
Yep, but equally, again, it explains that when we think about theory and we think about Carl Rogers and conditions of worth, it also explains why then we see people like Rosie struggling, because you can kind of see there that where she's not able to be her authentic self, how then she starts to experience mental distress.
Yeah. I mean, she was very much good mum, wasn't she? And deeply cared about her daughter, but she was obviously very unhappy as well in her marriage to Adam, who was played by Asa Butterfield, wasn't he? What did you think of his performance? Different role.
It is a different role. Now, I like his performance, but I guess I'm just not used to him in that kind of role. He is normally the good guy, right? And we've seen that in other programmes. He's nice, he's kind, and this was a bit different. And it's not that I don't think he was a nice person, but we do see he makes some brutal mistakes. And we also do see with him, again, that inner struggle, because he's not able to be the person that he wants to be. And he is becoming distressed with himself, and it is impacting the decisions that he's making.
Yeah, I struggled with Asa Butterfield in Unchosen a bit. And he's freshly pressed button shirt all the time, and he looked like his mates from the Weatherspoons have shaved all his hair off after a night out. I mean, that's the vibe I got from him all the time. I mean, I just didn't get that cultist, depraved lunatic. I got more of a reluctant League One football hooligan vibe from him in a way. What do you think? And
I guess that shows you that he's got reservations. He's not all in. He wants to be, but he's not all in because he's not able to be who he wants to be.
Do you think he sold it though? Do you think he sold the role?
Well, I think he sold the role, but as a very confused, distressed man.
You think I'm in harsh?
A little bit, because I don't know what they were going with, but I don't think he was ever meant to be some cold-hearted brute. I think that's what they were trying to show, was that he was making some wrong decisions, and sometimes things that he was doing were wrong or harsh, but he wasn't deliberately trying to be a horrible person. He was trying to find his way, and there was a lot of confusion within him.
Maybe I'm in harsh. You think I'm in harsh, don't you? That's what you're saying.
I do, yeah. Yeah. I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's.
No, I like him. I think he's a great kid actor. I think he's brilliant in some of the things I've seen him in, Sex Education and other things. But in this, I don't know, just felt a bit disconnected with it. Maybe that's my bad. But yeah.
Yeah, but is that because he is disconnected within himself, and that's what he's portraying on the screen? Because look at the stress he was under. He was having to, in some ways, throw his own brother under the bus. And look what they were doing to his brother.
Yeah.
That was torture, right?
It was. But yeah, I just kept getting back to the point where he just looked a bit like it reminds me of the I think there's a film called Imperium with Daniel Radcliffe where he was undercover as a Nazi hooligan. He just didn't sell the role at all. It just looked like he just looked out of place, incongruent, using the therapeutic word.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And maybe that's because maybe that's because he is better suited to those roles of being the good guy, because maybe that's just where he's more believable as the good guy.
Maybe. And Sam, what did you think of Sam? Obviously, he's the linchpin of the show.
He was a manipulative one, wasn't he?
How do you think he did that? From a therapist view, how do you think he did that? Control.
It's really difficult, isn't it? Because it's almost like Sam mirrors exactly what you want to see. And we saw this with Rosie and with Adam. So like, if you're lonely, he's going to be your best friend. If you're lost, he's going to be your father. And we did see that. He saw that Rosie wanted love. She wanted to feel safe, secure. She wanted someone to love her back. And he gave her that. But equally, Adam wanted to be with a man, and he gave Adam that. So you could see him how he slivered his way in, and he got that manipulation working. He took advantage of their wants and their desires.
Yeah, to me,
his own
he's
gain.
using unconditional positive regard a lot with that. Really, constantly trying to get on their good side and trying to manipulate them, trying to control them with these words and these devious ways. Today we're going to look at a concept called unconditional positive regard, or UPR, a concept developed by the legendary psychologist Carl Rogers. the father of client-centered therapy. At its core, it's basically the practice of accepting and supporting someone without judgment or evaluation, regardless of what they say or what they do. There are some key points to understand UPR. So one of the first ones is fundamental acceptance. This is basically involving seeing someone as inherently worthy and valuable, separating them from behaviours or choices. Another one would be suspension of judgment. The listener sets aside their own biases, moral evaluations, and shoulds to create a safe psychological space. So basically, one of the key pillars of therapy. Non-possessive caring is a form of warmth that doesn't demand anything in return. You basically aren't approving of their actions, you're accepting of their personhood. So you may be asking, how does UPR work in practice? Because it sounds very idealistic and simplistic, doesn't it? But it basically means separation of action from identity. You can disagree with a person's specific behaviour. So for example, they may be lying or could be angry, but you can also still be maintaining a positive, caring stance towards that person themselves. So it's basically a separation between the two. And another thing to kind of see it as the no strings attached rule. And I know that has different connotations these days, but when it comes to UPR, it basically means support is not conditional. It doesn't disappear if the person makes a mistake or fails to meet your expectations. And another thing to really think about is active empathy. This requires deep listening to the individual's person's agenda and experience, and to understand why they feel the way they do or act in a certain way, rather than just reacting to the surface behaviour. So you might be asking, why does it matter? It can really help foster self-actualization, which is something that we'll get into later down the line because it's a topic in itself. It can also reduce conditions of worth, which is something Shelly spoke about in one of our prior videos on the BBC show Babies. And it also provides psychological safety as well. So it's basically creating the ultimate safe zone, allowing individuals to explore their darkest thoughts or greatest fears without threat of rejection. So there's a crucial distinction here, because you're thinking, I can't just be nice all the time and can't just accept everyone's behaviour. But we're basically saying that it's not the same as being a pushover or accepting everything that someone does. It's maintaining a baseline of genuine human respect at its core, even when you find a person's behaviour challenging or wrong. Yeah, so just genuine stream of empathy that is kind of missing a lot in the world at the moment. So, I mean, guys, what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think we should try and show a bit more UPR to everyone? Or do you think it's a bit kumbaya, as some others may do? Drop your comments below. Be interested to hear. Let's get back to the video.
And it's difficult, isn't it? Because there's a price to pay, isn't there? So he's taken advantage of them. So they are, succumbing to their desires, shall we say. But within their community, there's a price to pay for that. And then he's using that to, again, blackmail and manipulate them further.
Yeah, and I actually thought Sam's character, who I think he was played by, I can't get this name right, is it Frothy? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Good actor. I thought he nailed the role. I thought, and I think he was genuinely the most complex character.
He was good
in the show.
He was complex
as well, because.
And took me by surprise as well, because to begin with, honestly, I thought I was watching like some sort of love story unfold.
Yeah, good twist, great twist, and because I think he had a reluctance, didn't he? There was some goodness in him, because obviously he saved the little girl at the start, and I think he saved the other woman who nearly got her head run over from the sad woman who got ousted by, I think it was Isaac. And yeah, he did some other nice things as well, but then ultimately there was this other side of him where he just at all costs would throw everyone under a car, literally, to get out of prison.
Exactly, yeah. If it meant things weren't going to go his way, yeah. And I don't know how I felt about the ending. Like, did he finally agree to hand himself in? Was that truly repentance? Was that what he was doing? Or again, was he doing that because he knew he was going to get, it was going to give him a position of leadership?
Yeah, I mean, as we know, it ended with him as kind of the leader. I think it was intimating, and maybe a series 2 if there's an appetite potentially for it. And
maybe,
yeah. I actually thought that was quite realistic, because with cults, you do get these people that are driven at all costs to lead the group, don't they? And they find their way to the top somehow. It's
yeah, and I think in some ways the whole prison thing helps with that, because it's almost like I have suffered, I have learned, I've suffered for all of our sins, and now I'm going to help make all that better. We know he's manipulative, so we've got no idea which way he tried to spin that. He could well have spun that as this was God, and his intervention was to send me to prison so I could truly repent, and I've repented, and now I've come back a better person, and he's seen fit to make me leader. Which is always something that confuses me, because you can literally say that about anything that happens, that it's God's will, right?
That's a good point. And yeah, he, obviously being inside as well, you do learn ways, tricks of the trade, don't you, to get around people and be devious and snakish. Yep. So perhaps he did use those skills as well in the community. But I mean, as we draw to close, talking about Unchosen, what are your overall thoughts? Thumbs up, thumbs down, approval?
Thumbs up. I found it thrilling. I wanted more. Yeah, thrilling at times, like when they were trying to escape towards the end. I had that drive to make sure Rosie got her daughter out, and Rosie got support. These programs always do make me feel a bit angry, because it's always the women that suffer more than the men. So overall, I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10, bloody hell. Generous.
Yeah. Oh, really? Where are you going then? Where are you going?
6.
6?
6. Yeah,
you didn't like it that much then?
I thought it was alright, but I thought there was a bit of a GCSE drama about it in some ways. Like, some of the actors, I think there's some really good actors in there, but maybe just phoning it in a bit. I mean, I like the concept, I like the idea, but I liked some of the moments in it. I thought it was just a bit of a mishmash. Some really good things, and like I say, some amateurish things at the same time. So I think 6 for me is a fair score. I'm sticking with that.
Always harsh.
Nah. I'm a realist. But yeah. What do you think, everyone? What did you think of the show? As always, keen to know. Did you like it? Do you think it was good? What did you think of the psychological aspects to it? Because, yeah, that's what this channel, its foundation is, the psychology. So we're really interested to know your thoughts. And, yeah, please drop your comments below. And any final thoughts, Shell?
No final thoughts here from me. Just, I want to hear more. I want to know what did people think, have they heard about many cults in the UK? Have they had any experiences? And how much more do they want to know from the therapeutic side? Like, are there any angles we're missing?
Good point. And yeah, that's a good question. I'd love to hear from someone who's experienced a cult. That would be a fantastic and interesting case to work with.
It would, yes.
But anyway, guys, take care and see you next time. Thanks.
Bye.